anytime we feel anything negative, what is the illusion that I have bought into?
I love the idea that, or the visualization or embodied feeling of that, if sort of anything feels uncomfortable or feels bad, is because whatever that thing is out of resonance with your true self.
That's right. Amen.
Your true self is never that. So if you don't feel good, it's because you're out of resonance. Something is putting you in a position where you have to do something or say something or be someone, and it's not who you are.
Yeah, you've bought into a self-perception that is not in alignment with the truth of who you are. So for instance, deep down, on the surface, it might be this person flicked me off in the interstate and now I'm mad. But deep underneath all the layers of ego, what really might be going on is I feel powerless and I'm upset that I feel powerless. Whatever it is, whatever that negative self-perception at the root is that you think reality is proving to you, that negative self-perception of feeling either powerless or unworthy of love, or, some of the other, like I'm not free, that's another big one, not having freedom. Those are not in alignment with the truth. The truth is you are a powerful being. You are unconditionally loved. You are love itself. And you are completely and totally free. But when you lose yourself in the idea of not being free, that hurts. That triggers fear. When you lose yourself in the idea of being shameful, unworthy of love, that sucks because it's not true. So whenever we have that negative, we can honestly look inside of ourselves and say, where do I have fear? And what negative self-perception has the world seemed to prove to me? The illusion of the world, I might add, has it seemed to prove to me is real. It's not really fundamentally real, but it's giving you the opportunity to be really in your face and really give you the chance to identify with potentially these perceptions and play with them.
What kind of powers do we have here? I get that we're infinite beings, we're love, like all these things, but like
doesn't feel practical.
What are our tools here? And what are our tools right now? And what are we stepping into? Because it does feel like we're stepping into something. We're moving into another level of us that has access to more of something. So what are our tools here right now, and what should we be working to cultivate?
Right. So on a practical level, we are constantly affecting physical reality all the time. Like we're nudging the probabilities all the time. I know most people believe in an objective material world. It only appears to be an objective material world. It's actually probabilistic in nature. Our intention does affect outcome all the time. So that's just one thing to point out.
So it's not
predetermined. It's a probabilistic reality where intention is constantly nudging all the time. All the time. So I'm just pointing out that mechanism, but what's the power behind that mechanism? And that is intent. Our true power is our intent. What are we really intending in this moment? How are we really using this moment? You could say the most direct way to comment on that question is, what is your relationship to this moment? Are you making it an enemy, or are you in love with it? Is it in love with you? If it's not in love with you and you're not in love with it, that's okay. Find out where you bought into something that made it an enemy. But I went through years and years of trauma, and I'm whatever the story is, that immediately rises up in anger because the ego is pissed. It raises its righteous fist and it says, I have good reason to call this universe cruel and me a victim. Are you willing to let go of that, actually, and find how you actually do have the power to even feel that negative fear, whatever it was you locked away, whatever it was that all those years of abuse or whatever it was seemed to prove to you? Are you willing to actually go feel that and honor yourself, love yourself enough to actually meet your own experience all the way? Now, that may sound indirect to your question, but it's not. It's not indirect, because the quality of our experience directly is reflective of the quality of what we've done within ourselves as spirit.
When you go into these dark aspects of yourself, of something you fear or something that you're jealous of or something that you're angry about, you have to go through the pain. It's like on a micro level, that's what's happening here on Earth. But on a macro level, you go, I'm going to go into this incarnation to learn this thing, to elevate to a higher level out here. And it's just sort of Just bigger and smaller versions of it, but they're all the self.
There's an important point here that I think is often missed. So sometimes when we hear a conversation like this, we think, oh, there's something I need to do. And the thing I need to do is to go, face my fears and do these things. Okay, that's true, but there's something deeper than the doing, and that is your actual willingness to feel or to be or to do whatever. And I'm pointing that out because you mentioned avoiding pain, willingness to feel the pain. This willingness I'm talking about means for the pain that you've buried away your whole life, this is not about avoiding that anymore. If you really want to open up all the gates, it's about actually being willing to go feel the pain. Willing. That means you no longer make it an enemy. You say, you know what? I feel powerless to this, but I'm going to feel it anyway. I'm going to go see. I'm going to go into the dark closet and see, is this thing really going to destroy me or not? And that requires feeling. It's a very personal and genuine and real process. It's not about, like as humans on the surface, we're all about activity. Do this activity, get this result. Tell me what activity I can do so I can get away from this pain that I have. This is more than activity. It's who you are. It's the actual quality of choice that you make. And the universe, that's what it's watching. It's not watching necessarily the activity. It's watching your willingness to admit your issues, to own yourself, to own your pain, to feel your pain, to actually help the person next to you, to actually be willing, to actually choose joy, even though that might mean that you have to be vulnerable to be full of joy right now, to be a little kid and run around and play in the sun. You know what I mean? Like that's a quality of being choice is all I'm saying. It's not primarily about an action.
Where are we going? Are humans not going to be humans as we know it, or something completely different? Where are we going?
I'm understanding your question to mean where are we going as a physical species, but I want to comment in the context, though, that we're not human. I know that sounds totally crazy. I know that sounds totally crazy, but we're not human. You're you. You're the you that feels like you to you. That's who you are. And you think that you means human really deeply, but that's not what you are. So where are we going? We are the players. We are the souls. We're going even beyond the limitation of the human condition. We're going to into experiences I can't possibly even imagine yet name. But as a physical species, the physical species will end up over time reflecting more and more that limitless nature of spirit. It just might take what we would consider a long time,
right?
Which is not a big deal to spirit. Linear time is a creation anyway. It's not a big deal.
Do you remember other lives that you had, non-human or?
Well, I know I've had hundreds of other incarnative experiences, but I only remember snippets from a few. I remember a couple that are non-human, and I remember one as a human woman. So if I get curious and I try to investigate, I usually get this gentle nudge like, no, you don't need to go see that right now. And I'm fine with that. You're like, okay, no problem. I'm Christian right now. So I know that I've had other experiences. And when I say I've had other experiences, that's really important. It's not because sometimes I think when we think of reincarnation, we think, oh, those are other people and I'm them. No, it's you. It's the same. Like if you go do something on Monday night and then you go do something on Tuesday night, like you go to dinner one night and go to a movie the next night and go to a race car track the next night, whatever it is. It's still you going to each of those experiences. There's not really a different person. You might be a slightly different person on Tuesday night than you were on Monday night. And you might be a slightly different person on Wednesday night than Tuesday night. That's how it is as a soul. We have one experience and then we have another experience, but it's the same you. So you're never not going to be you.
Processing trauma and going into these dark spaces that we're afraid to go and becoming a different person, or being afraid almost that you'll become a different person. It's like you'll never lose your essence ever.
Absolutely.
Like your home frequency that people feel won't ever change. It's really just how you change, how you feel in that frequency. Like that's the crazy thing about growth and like becoming more of an observer and not getting so wrapped up in things and getting so pulled and torn and victim and that and oh my gosh that and division. And it's like your reality sometimes changes. There's definitely no bones about it. Like sometimes some things in your reality change, but for the most part you just feel better in it.
Yeah. So what feels not good is when you've associated with things that you're not.
Right. That's
what feels not good. Fakeness, negative self-perceptions that aren't you. That's what doesn't feel good. The real you is full of joy. You're joyful. You're a joyful being. You are. You just and I like, you might say, no, I have this long story. Like I said, all this history that proves to me that that's not true. That's okay. You've had that experience. Now what? You're still you. You're still the joyful you underneath all those layers. Always. Yeah. It's really a message of hope. I mean, we come so far deep into this human experience. We really get lost in the story, and it's an opportunity. It's a gift. And we've become so lost now that we kind of made it into a little bit of a nightmare sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but now that we're here, we never lose who we really are. Yeah. The question is, what do we do now in this moment with remembering, even just a little bit? When I say remember who you are, I don't mean you need to have a big old, grand experience. I'm talking like when you look at the sunset and you feel the joy in your body, or you feel like, oh my gosh, like life is good. And notice how that is not just a feeling or an idea. It's your very stuff. Your very nature, your being, your consciousness itself actually is that reflecting back to you in the form of a sunset. That's all. Yeah, we are all family, actually. There's no such thing as a stranger. Strangers only happen when we have the illusion of separation, and then we don't remember and we don't feel connected. So we think external people that we have no history with are strangers. That's what we call strangers. But truly, we're all connected. We're all brothers and sisters, every one of us, not just humans, but animals. We're all
about
connected.
The extraterrestrials?
It's the same. There's not a big difference between, like, I know that sounds super crazy because, oh my gosh, now we're talking about ETs, but the soul has many different opportunities to incarnate, not just Earth. Okay. Earth is precious. It's very unique. I was able to feel and know the incredible, unique preciousness of Earth. But it's not the only show in town. It's not the only class you can go to. It's not the only place. There's other systems with incredibly different vibrations, not just in our entire universe, but there are entire other universes available. We're us. We're you, and you're you, and I'm me, and that's what we are. We're just playing human.
Do you think that we'll have true, real contact and knowledge and confirmation of extraterrestrials on Earth, or is that?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you met that? Did you?
No, I have no direct experience with what we would call an ET. I do have one memory of what I suspect was probably I don't want to label it in any way, but an intelligent civilization that was not human. I think I have at least one experience in that. But other than that, I've had no direct experiences myself with what we would call ETs. I have interacted at times with other people's guides or their deeper selves. But I don't draw a big distinction. Like I said, it's not really the form.
If you like this clip and you want to hear the whole episode, click at the bottom of your screen.